Leviticus chapter 17. The law of holiness, eating of blood forbidden. The Lord said to Moses, Speak to Aaron his sons and all the people of Israel and say to them, This is what the Lord has commanded. Any man from the house of Israel who slaughters an ox or a lamb or a goat in the camp or outside the camp, and does not bring it to the entrance of the tent of meeting to make an offering of it to the Lord before the tabernacle of the Lord, that man shall be considered guilty of bloodshed. He has shed blood, and he shall be ostracized from among his people. The reason for this ordinance is that the people of Israel who used to bring their sacrifices to the Lord in the open fields may now bring them to the priest at the entrance to the tent of meeting as covenant sacrifices to the Lord. The priest shall throw the blood on the altar of the Lord at the entrance to the tent of meeting and burn the fat as a sweet aroma that appeases the Lord. This way they shall no longer offer their sacrifices to the goat demons to whom they prostituted themselves. This is to be an irrevocable statute for them in the generations to come. Then you shall say to them, Anyone from the house of Israel or any alien living among them who offers a burnt offering or a sacrifice and does not bring it to the entrance of the tent of meeting to offer it to the Lord, that person shall be ostracized from his people. If anyone from the house of Israel or any alien living among them eats blood, I will set my face against that person, and I will cut him off from among his people. For the life of the creature is in the blood, and I have given it to you to perform the rite of atonement for your lives on the altar. For it is the blood that makes atonement for a life. That is why I say to the people of Israel, Not one among you shall eat blood, nor shall any alien who lives among you eat blood. If any Israelite or any alien living among you catches any animal or bird that may be eaten, he shall pour out its blood and cover it with mud. For the blood of every creature contains its life, and therefore I have said to the people of Israel, You shall not eat the blood of any creature, for the life of all creature is within its blood. Whoever eats it shall be ostracized. And every person who eats a creature that dies naturally or that is torn by wild animals, whether he be a native or an alien, shall wash his clothes and bathe with water, and will remain unclean until evening. Then he will be clean. But if he does not wash his clothes or bathe his body, he shall bear his guilt. Leviticus chapter 18. Sanctity of sex, marriage, and family life. The Lord spoke to Moses and said, Speak to the people of Israel and say to them, I am the Lord your God. You shall not do what they do in the land of Egypt where you used to live, nor shall you do what they do in the land of Canaan where I am bringing you. You shall not follow their practices. My statutes you will follow, and you will carry out my ordinances. I am the Lord your God. Keep my statutes and ordinances, for whoever keeps them finds life. I am the Lord. None of you shall have sexual intercourse with a close blood relative. I am the Lord. You shall not have intercourse with your father or your mother. She is your mother. You shall have not intercourse with her. You shall not have intercourse with your father's wife. It is like having sexual relations with your father. You shall not have intercourse with your sister or your stepsister, whether born in the same house or elsewhere. You shall not have intercourse with your son's daughter or your daughter's daughter, that would dishonor you. You shall not have intercourse with a half-sister. She too is your sister. You shall not have intercourse with your father's sister, since she is your father's relative. You shall not have intercourse with your mother's sister, since she is your mother's relative. You shall not have intercourse with your father's brother. You shall not approach his wife. She is your aunt. You shall not have intercourse with your daughter-in-law, she is your son's wife. You shall not have intercourse with your sister-in-law, it is like having sexual relations with your brother. You shall not have intercourse with both a woman and a daughter or her granddaughter. They are close blood relatives, that is, incest. While your wife is living, you shall not marry your sister as a rival wife, for thus you would disgrace your first wife. You shall not have intercourse with a woman during her monthly period. You shall not have intercourse with your neighbor's wife and defile yourself with her. You shall not allow any of your children to be sacrificed by fire to Moloch and thus profane the name of your God. I am the Lord. You shall not lie with a man as one lies with a woman. It is an abomination. You shall not have sexual relations with an animal, that is a violation of nature. Nor shall a woman submit herself to such intercourse, that is abominable. You shall not defile yourselves in any of these ways, for this is how the nations I am driving out before you defile themselves. As the land was defiled, I came to punish it for its guilt, and so the land vomited out its inhabitants. You shall keep my statutes and customs, and you shall not indulge in any of these abominations, neither the native nor the alien living among you. For the people of this land who were before you indulged in all these abominations, and so the land became defiled. If you defile the land, it will vomit you out as it had vomited out the nations that were before you. The one who indulges in any of these abominations shall be cut off from his people. You shall keep my injunctions and not follow any of these abomination customs which were practiced before you, so as not to defile yourselves by them. I am the Lord your God. Psalm chapter 49, the responsibility of the rich. Psalm chapter 48, Zion, the mountain of God. Great is the Lord, most worthy of praise, in the city of God, his holy mountain. Beautifully elevated is the joy of all the earth. Mount Zion in the far north, the city of the great King. Here within the lines of our defense, God has shown himself to be a fortress. The kings assembled together, they advanced toward the city. But as soon as they saw it, they were astounded. They panicked and took to flight. Seized with fear, they trembled like a woman in travail, or like the ships of Tarshish, shattered by a strong wind from the east. Just as we have heard, so have we seen for ourselves. In the city of the Lord of hosts, in the city of our God, God makes us firm forever. We meditate on your unfailing love, O God, inside your temple. Your praise reaches to the ends of the earth, as does your name, O God. Your right hand is ever victorious. Let Mount Zion rejoice, let the villages of Judah be glad because of your judgments. Walk among Zion, make the round, count the towers, consider well the ramparts, examine a fortification, that you may tell the next generation that such is God, our God forever and ever, who will always be our guide. Matthew chapter 28. Jesus appears to the women. After the Sabbath, as the day was dawning on the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary went to visit the tomb. Suddenly there was a violent earthquake, for an angel of the Lord came down from heaven, went to the tomb, and rolled away the stones from the entrance of the tomb and sat on it. His appearance was like lightning, and his garment white as snow. The guards were so terrified at his sight that they shook with fear and became like dead men. The angel said to the women, "Do not be afraid, for I know that you are looking for Jesus who was crucified. He is not here, for he is risen as he said. Come, see the place where they laid him. Now go at once and tell his disciples that he is risen from the dead and is going ahead of you to Galilee. You will see him there. This is my message for you." They left the tomb at once with fear and great joy, and they ran to tell the news to the disciples. Suddenly Jesus met them on the way and said, "Peace." The women approached him, embraced his feet, and worshipped him. But Jesus said to them, "Do not be afraid. Go and tell my brothers to go to Galilee. There they will see me." While the women were on their way, the guards returned to the city, and some of them reported to the chief priest all that had happened. The chief priest met with the Jewish authorities and decided to give the soldiers a good sum of money with instructions. "Say that while you were asleep, his disciples came by night and stole the body of Jesus. If Pilate comes to know of this, we will satisfy him and keep you out of trouble." The soldiers accepted the money and did as they were told. The story has circulated among the Jews until this day. The Great Commission. As for the 11 disciples, they went to Galilee, to the mountain where Jesus had told them to go. When they saw Jesus, they worshipped him, although some doubted. Then Jesus approached them and said, "I have been given all authority in heaven and on earth. Go therefore and make disciples from all nations. Baptize them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, and teach them to fulfill all that I have commanded you. I am with you always until the end of this world."